Imagine a world where the legend of Bruce Lee didn't end in 1973. What if, instead of being taken too soon, the dragon faced the greatest fight of his life and emerged victorious? In this alternate history, we explore a Bruce Lee who didn't just revolutionize martial arts and cinema in his youth, but went on to inspire generations to come, defying the odds and continuing to shape the world with his philosophy. July 20th, 1973, was supposed to be just another day in the life of Bruce Lee. He had been tirelessly working on Game of Death while preparing for the release of Enter the Dragon, a film poised to make him an international superstar. But fate had other plans. That afternoon, after taking Equagesic for a headache while at the apartment of actress Betty Ting Pei, Bruce Lee collapsed. He was rushed to Queen Elizabeth Hospital, where doctors diagnosed him with a severe cerebral edema. His condition was critical. His brain had swollen dangerously, threatening his life. For hours, medical professionals fought to keep him alive. His heart stopped twice, but he was revived. He fell into a deep coma, and for the next 3 weeks, the world held its breath. Newspapers prematurely declared his death, fans mourned, and the martial arts community reeled from the news. Then, miraculously, Bruce Lee woke up. When Bruce regained consciousness, it was clear that he was not the same. The cerebral edema had left him with severe neurological impairments. His speech was slow and slurred, his reflexes dulled, and his coordination significantly affected. He was unable to walk properly and required assistance for even the most basic movements. For the first time in his life, Bruce Lee was physically weak. Doctors warned that he might never fully recover. Hollywood moved on without him. Enter the Dragon became a phenomenon, and his unfinished film, Game of Death, was completed using stand-ins. The Bruce Lee legend was already growing, but the man himself was fighting an entirely different battle. His wife, Linda, refused to let him give up. His closest students, Dan Inosanto, Taiki Kimura, and Ted Wong, stood by his side, helping him through every step of his rehabilitation. The man who once trained at lightning speed was now relearning how to hold a chopstick. It took nearly 2 years of relentless training, meditation, and physical therapy for Bruce to regain control of his body. Though he was never the same, he adapted, turning his weakness into a new kind of strength. By 1975, Bruce is finally able to return to martial arts. His movements are slightly slower, his body not as invincible as before, but his mind is sharper than ever. Determined to spread his knowledge, he begins writing a new book, Jeet Kune Do, The Path of Adaptability. It becomes a cult classic, redefining martial arts as a philosophy of constant evolution. By 1978, Bruce is ready for his comeback. In 1978, Bruce Lee makes his long-awaited return to the big screen with The Silent Warrior, a film that tells the story of a martial artist who loses everything but fights his way back, mirroring Bruce's own journey. The movie becomes a global phenomenon. Fans celebrate his return, but they also notice something different. Bruce's fights are now more fluid and strategic, relying less on raw speed and power. He has evolved. In the early 1980s, Bruce shifts his focus to directing and producing. He no longer wants to be just a martial arts icon. He wants to be a storyteller. His films begin to explore deeper themes: the meaning of strength, the limits of the human body, the battle between ego and discipline. One of his greatest works is The Way of the Dragon 2, 1983, where he reunites with Chuck Norris in a fight scene that is both physically and philosophically intense. Instead of just an action film, it becomes a story about two warriors searching for meaning beyond violence. By 1985, Bruce is more than a movie star. He is a cultural leader, inspiring not only martial artists but also philosophers, athletes, and even world leaders. As he enters his 50s, Bruce steps away from the Hollywood spotlight. He devotes himself to teaching and mentoring. He opens the Dragon Institute, a worldwide organization dedicated to teaching Jeet Kune Do, meditation, and mental discipline. His students include not just fighters, but Olympic athletes, military personnel, and even CEOs who want to apply his philosophy to leadership. During this time, Bruce mentors rising action stars like Jackie Chan, whom he advises on balancing humor and martial arts in films; Jean-Claude Van Damme, teaching him the philosophy behind fluid movement; Keanu Reeves, inspiring the creation of martial arts elements in The Matrix; Bruce also becomes an advocate for holistic health, promoting a lifestyle that combines martial arts, meditation, proper nutrition, and mental clarity. His work gains academic recognition. In 1996, Harvard University invites him to give a lecture titled Be Water, The Science of Adaptability. It becomes one of the most watched academic speeches of all time. By 2000, Bruce Lee is no longer just a martial arts legend. He is a philosopher, a teacher, and a revolutionary thinker. As he enters his 70s, Bruce begins to slow down. Decades of intense training and his past health scares have taken a toll. He retires from public life and settles in California with his family, focusing on writing and personal reflection. In 2015, at age 75, Bruce publishes his final book, The Way of the Dragon, a lifetime of martial arts and philosophy. The book, filled with his wisdom, personal experiences, and philosophical insights, becomes a global bestseller. Even in his later years, Bruce continues practicing martial arts, though now with more precision and less aggression. He often tells his students, "When you are young, you fight the world. When you are old, you fight yourself." On November 27, 2021, Bruce Lee passes away peacefully at home, surrounded by his loved ones. He was 81 years old. The world mourns his passing, but his legacy lives on. In 2025, Bruce Lee is remembered not as the man who died young, but as the man who lived fully. His teachings continue to shape. Martial arts, Jeet Kune Do, is now a global discipline. Philosophy, his books are studied in universities. Cinema, his films remain timeless classics. Sports and psychology, his mindset influences athletes, trainers, and even military strategies. In one of his last interviews, Bruce leaves us with words that define his life's journey. Be water, my friend. Do not resist change. Flow with it. Become it. And in doing so, you will find true strength. Bruce Lee's story is no longer just about martial arts. It is about human potential, the power to adapt, grow, and inspire beyond limits. His spirit, like water, remains eternal,